Dark Caracal, Season 2, Phase 3, Episode 3, The Hidden Engineer. Rakan didn't touch the data core all day. It remained on the workbench, silent, as if it was waiting for something. And so was he, waiting for an answer. He sat in front of his computer. One by one, he reopened every document his father had left behind. Engineering sketches, equations, old reports, files he had read dozens of times before. But this time, he saw them differently. He whispered to himself, "If you really worked with Archive Project, then you must have left something behind." He began connecting the dates, the fire, his father's disappearance, the beginning of the Caracal Project. Then, he noticed something strange. One of the old pages had a torn corner. He had never paid attention to it before. He held the paper against the light. Faded writing slowly appeared, a -O. Beneath it was an unfinished engineering sketch. It wasn't a helmet. It wasn't a weapon. It looked like a small technological core, almost identical to the data core. Rakan's breathing stopped. So, it existed before everything else. He turned toward the data core. At that exact moment, its blue light pulsed. Once, a new line appeared across the HUD. Memory O2 available. Rakan hesitated. The previous memory had nearly overwhelmed him, but curiosity won. He slowly put on the Caracal helmet, then placed the data core in front of him. This time, he didn't activate any software. The moment the helmet approached the device, the blue light intensified. Then, the room disappeared. He stood once again inside the same workshop, but this time, it wasn't empty. His father stood before a massive electronic workstation. Engineers moved around him. Holographic displays floated through the air. Prototype devices rested across the laboratory, machines unlike anything Rakan had ever seen. It felt less like an aircraft workshop and more like a highly classified research facility. One of the engineers spoke. "The core has stabilized." Rakan's father looked down at the small device resting on the table. The very same device now sitting in Rakan's apartment. He answered calmly, "It still isn't complete." Another voice replied, "But the administration wants to begin Phase 2. He slowly shook his head. "If you rush this, the system will become something no one will be able to stop." Silence. Then, the same shadowed man from the previous memory stepped forward. His face remained hidden. His voice was cold. "That is exactly why we need observers." Rakan's father looked directly at him. For the first time, fear crossed his face. Before he could answer, the memory violently trembled. The image fractured. Metallic noise echoed from every direction. Everything collapsed. Darkness. Rakan opened his eyes. He was back inside his apartment, breathing heavily. The HUD displayed a new message. Memory O2 interrupted. A second line appeared. Synchronization 8%. Rakan stared at the silent data core. He no longer had any doubts. His father was never just an aircraft engineer. He had been one of the people who helped create the first core. But why had he tried to stop the project? Before Rakan removed the helmet, one final message appeared. For the first time, next memory requires authorization. Rakan froze, then quietly whispered, "Authorization? Who has it?" The blue light inside the data core faded. Darkness returned. End of Episode 3.